All right, I could show you 100 clips of Gavin Newsom from Davos. Last night, his event was canceled by the White House because they didn't want him to use the platform that administration officials have been using. And of course, Newsom made hay out of that. This morning, in his final Davos event, he spoke to Ben Smith of Semaphore about a bunch of things. And this one's interesting. Again, I could show you 5 sound bites, but we're just going to show you one. He basically has, been asked, why this is not a new topic. Like, why do you use social media in a just Trumpian way? Aren't you, wrestling with a pig? Here's what Gavin Newsom said. This is pretty compelling to me in terms of the substance, but I want you guys also to look at the style here. I continue to believe that he's not coming across as unshifty. How about that? This is 109, please.
I suppose, do you think post-Trump there's a path back? Because you see this everywhere, the kind of insult politics that you're doing here, which you said you don't really enjoy it. You kind of seem to.
Well, I'm just putting a mirror up. No, you got to. I was doing my 10-point plans before, and I don't think any of you would have been here this morning had I done that.
Oh, they would have been here.
No, because it wasn't working. No, everyone's trying to figure this guy out.
How do you, a Mark Carney crowd.
Yeah, no, but it's how do you communicate? How do you respond to this moment? And for me, it's about iteration. It's an entrepreneurial spirit. It's a very California mindset. You got to keep increasing the number of tries. And I was trying everything, wasn't working, wasn't breaking through. Democratic Party, writ large, wasn't breaking through. And we decided the only way to address Trump is quite literally to fight fire with fire. I did an initiative, Prop 50 in California. It was to reflect the fact that Donald Trump called an American politician and said in the middle of the decade to the governor of the state of Texas, I am entitled, Greg Abbott, to 5 seats, and I need you to redraw district lines, mid-year redistricting, to rig the 2026 election before one vote is cast. What the Trump administration expected we were going to do, as good Democrats do, we might write an op-ed. And we may, all go out and just say, this is just so wrong, and all of us would be applauding and say, yes, yes. And, as he's consolidating power. Instead, we went out and we redraw our maps. And we also drew a line in the sand. And I think that's what's required at this moment. And
so people can have different views about this attitude, this strategy, this tone. As my grandfather used to say, some people even like chocolate ice cream. So this is subjective. I considered his tone for the whole week to not be effective. That's my ears and eyes. I thought being overseas and criticizing the commander-in-chief sounded a little whiny, a little off key, and I just didn't see this as great. I will say, people I respect, I thought it was fantastic, and I will also say, no other Democrat, not even Governor Shapiro, could have done what he did this week. So he's an aircraft carrier. Hogan, take your partisanship aside. Did Gavin Newsom have a good week in Davos, a bad week, or doesn't matter?
Okay, I'm going to answer it this way. It doesn't matter, but it does matter to a subset of the Democrat Party, which is going to be picking their nominee in 2028 soon. I was having a conversation with my mother last night, and she was saying how horrible Gavin Newsom was. I'm like, I agree. He's the best liar I've seen since Bill Clinton. He's one of the biggest buffoons I've seen, he and Tim Walz together. It's shocking to me to watch him try and meander his way through these things. However, a large portion of California loves what he's done there. They're fine with the high taxes. They're fine with people leaving. They're fine with open air drug use. They don't care. So what I'm saying is, going to a foreign country, and you hit on it, he didn't just criticize. He said, European nations, stand up to America. What are you doing? Stand up to America. It was so weird. But I think it matters to some Democrats because they want to see some fight that Donald Trump had on the right. Yep. They need somebody in a parallel position, and Gavin Newsom offers that to them.
Yeah, Kevin, that was very nuanced what Hogan just did. Top that.
Yeah. No, this is why the governor's number one on your list, right? Mark, for 2028.
For this is what
for being the nominee. This is, to Hogan's point, what Democrats want to see. It also, to some degree, gets under the president's skin, right? Who was the only Democrat that he really name checked from the podium was Gavin Newsom in that audience. So it's good politics for the governor. It's good politics for the president because it riles up both sides of the base. Gavin is a great enemy for the right and for MAGA. And the same is true on the left with the president and trying to get under his skin. And, the photo that went around that the governor's team tweeted out was him kind of standing in the shadows with the light on him behind Susie Wiles and the rest of the cabinet as kind of I'm here, I'm putting a stake in the ground. And that's what Democrats want to see, at least, in terms of the agitated parts of my base.
All right, I'm revising my position. He had a good week. And maybe the tactics and the strategy are okay. I just think
no one else on your list. No one else on your list was there. No one else was.
Well, Bashir was there, but although he's not on my list currently, I'll tell you what the negative I see is he's not as quick on his feet as he thinks he is, and he had, you saw it in that clip. It's just he stutters and staggers and he's like his rival Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. He doesn't want to make a mistake. He's not.
He's
speaking.
very calculating. Very calculating.
But he also knows. I'm talking about trans athletes, or I'm talking about this criticism about that I'm downplaying Trump's gutter level. He picks his way through the answer in a very self-conscious way, and I think that's foreshadowing trouble as pressure comes on him. Hogan.
All three of us know this individual I spoke to this morning, and they made the point to me. They said, "Now I've seen it, and I can't unsee it." With Gavin Newsom, they said, "Watch." Everybody he's interviewed by, whether it be Ben Shapiro, Ben Smith, whatever, he always agrees with the premise of their question.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I know where you're coming from.
Exactly.
I get it. No
and
women's sport. I get it. I get it.
Totally great point. And that's adjacent to what I'm talking about. This is not organic. It's too calculating, and people can see it.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.
And don't forget, you can now listen to the morning meeting and Two-Way Tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.